Greetings. This is Joe Talley from Theater Rhinoceros, and thank you for joining us this evening for our monthly staged readings, which have been staged Zoom readings for over a year now. Very happy you could join us. Tonight we are presenting Falling Skies by Brayden Frascone. Myself and an artistic colleague, Devin Cunningham, have been working on this. So without further ado, I'm just going to get us started on this play. The scene is the Skylight Bar. Curtis wipes down the bar of the Skylight Club. He's just closed for the night. The dance floor and sound system have seen better days, and so has the bar. There are advertisements for themed events and autographed photos of drag queens and go-go boys on the walls. It's very gay. An imposing skylight sits above the dance floor. Curtis calls after someone who has just left.
I'm going to finish cleaning and then get out of here. See you Friday, boss.
Curtis goes about his closing activities, and as he finishes, he considers the dance floor. He hesitates, then switches on a slow love song on the sound system and lays on the floor beneath the skylight, looking directly up. A few moments pass, and the door is heard opening again. Robert steps through, and Curtis quickly sits up.
Oh, hey, sorry. I think I just dropped the contact while I was sweeping up. Oh, hi. I thought you were someone else. We're closed for the night. You'll have to come back later in the week when we reopen.
Is this the Skylight Club?
Yeah, that's what it says on the sign out front. Can I help you with something?
I've come to the right place.
Right place for what?
This isn't an easy place to find. I don't really get to this side of town much.
I'm sorry about that. Our address is listed. You can Google it.
I'm bad with technology.
Right. So, like I said, it's 3 a.m., so we're closed. Our hours are listed on the door if you'd like to come back later.
It's different from what I expected. It's smaller.
Yeah, I guess. We can fit a lot of people in here, though.
That skylight is huge. I've never seen anything like it before.
It's kind of what we're known for. I do have to ask you to leave, though.
I can't leave. Not yet. I just got here.
Sir, we're closed. You need to go. I don't know how else to politely tell you that. I have another job to get to in the morning, and if I leave now, I can maybe get 3 hours of sleep.
Uh, uh, but I need to know what happens here.
Excuse me?
What's it like when there are people and music and dancing?
I guess you just said it. There's people and music and dancing.
I need you to paint the picture for me. Please.
Sir, I really don't know what you're going for here. We're closed. Come back on Friday night. You'll get to see it in all its glory.
I might not make it until Friday.
Right. I feel that way too sometimes. I work 3 jobs. Just drink some coffee and you'll be fine.
I'm not going to make it because I'm dying.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Truly. But you can't die here. I'd recommend a hospital personally. Unlike the Skylight, those are open 24 hours.
I'm serious. I'll never get to see it.
Sir, why are you wasting my time?
It's true. Can't you grant a dying man this one wish?
Why should I? If you're really dying, should we have gotten a call from Make-A-Wish? Hey, this 60-year-old man really wants to turn up one last time before taking the old dirt nap.
Make-A-Wish is for children. When you get to be my age, everyone just stops caring.
Great. Well, thank you for that insight. This is the part where I call the police.
Curtis, don't.
How do you know my name?
Curtis Jackson.
Yes.
I'm Kevin's father.
I don't know anyone by that name.
Kevin Hartman. You think he never showed me a picture of you? I didn't know it at the time that you were his friend.
Get out.
I need to speak to you, Curtis.
I said get out
I'm
now.
not going anywhere.
How dare you come here of all places?
I need answers. This is the only place I knew for sure you'd be.
If half of what I've heard about you is true, you don't deserve answers.
What I've done is immaterial at this point, and you're the only person who can give me what I need.
I can't help you.
You can, and you will, Curtis.
I don't owe you a damn thing.
Not even for a dying man.
Jesus Christ, you're still on that. I know you're not dying. I'm not playing this game, certainly not with you.
I am dying, and I need answers before it happens.
Why should I?
Because he was my son. And think what you will about me and the choices I've made, but I didn't see him at all in his last year. It's useless to think about what I would have done differently. I just need you to tell me what his life was like before my time runs out.
Is that supposed to make me feel bad for you? You were a piece of shit in life, and even if you are dying, which I sincerely hope is true, you'll be a piece of shit then too.
Brain cancer, stage 4. They found a tumor a few weeks after he... Look, I've wanted to come here for a long time, to see you.
Well, how about that for poetic justice? Does it hurt? I hope it hurts because it hurt Kevin the whole time.
I didn't know that he was going to... Of course, I have regrets about what happened. What father wouldn't? But I need to know, Curtis. I need to know about him. I need to make it right.
Make it right.
If I can.
That's what you want. His forgiveness, really. What makes you think you deserve it?
Oh, I don't. Not yet. That's why I'm here. I need you to tell me what I can do to earn it.
You can start by leaving and dying miserable and alone. That'll put you in the ballpark.
Please, Curtis.
You're too late. He can't forgive you because he's dead. And even if he were here, he wouldn't have.
He still can. And he can still see me and what I'm doing. I know it.
Do you believe all of that? That he's up on some cloud looking down at us? I don't. He didn't.
Oh, you don't? You don't think he can see you?
No.
Then what was that when I walked in?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Lying on the ground, looking up at the stars? And that was his favorite song playing, wasn't it?
That's not your business.
Fine. It's not my business. But Kevin is. And I just want some questions answered.
You have no right to know anything about him. You gave that up when you kicked him out.
Would some incentive help?
Excuse me.
I didn't want to have to do this, but you haven't left me another option. Either you answer my questions or I'm going to buy the Skylight Club.
What?
It'll cost every penny of what I've saved for my retirement, but what the hell do I need that for now? Answer my questions or so help me, I will knock this place to the ground.
You are one disturbed bastard. You know that?
I need answers. Now you see how far I'll go for them.
Oh, no. I meant disturbed in that you actually think I'd believe you. You wouldn't buy this place if you are dying, which honestly, I'm still not convinced of. There's no way you'd be able to accomplish that with the time you have left. Nice try.
Appraised value of this lot is $786,000. After taxes, that leaves me $800,000 for the purchase. I called your boss yesterday, and apparently he's been looking to get out from under this business for a while. He said the bar has seen better days, and remodel is just more trouble than it's worth. But then you knew that, didn't you? He said an employee had his eye on it for a while, but was nowhere near having enough money for a down payment. And I can only assume he meant you, Curtis. The contractor for the demolition job will take a bit longer to come by, but at that point, if I'm dead, the bank will take care of my assets, and I imagine they'll be very, very eager to sell. Maybe they'll turn it into a Chipotle.
You seem to have this all figured out.
I don't have time to argue about it anymore, Curtis. I'll make the call in the morning and have it done. Simple as that.
Simple as that. You're a monster.
I can live with that if it means that I get what I need.
You really have no fucking idea what you're talking about, do you? People's lives depend on the Skylight Club. In what world do you think Kevin would forgive you for destroying the one place in the world where he felt safe?
I have my reasons. I'm not a bad man, Curtis. I've made mistakes and I'm trying to account for them. That's all.
And you're making that my responsibility. Brilliant.
20 questions. Then I'll leave. Fair?
No part of this is fair.
It's not exactly what I want either, but it's the only way.
Fine. 20 questions, then drop dead. Christ, I need a drink. Do you want one?
I don't drink.
That's not what I heard.
I don't drink anymore.
Well, I'm going to have several because this is one fucked up night. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, question one.
What is this place?
Is that a serious question or are you really that naive?
Serious question.
It's a gay bar. Best one in all of Pittsburgh for that matter.
And what happens here?
What? What the hell do you mean, what happens here?
Just what I said. What happens here?
It's a gay bar. What do you think? We get pissed drunk and dry up to Madonna songs.
And my son. He came here.
Your son worked here.
He was a bartender?
No, he was not a bartender.
Then what did he do?
Do you actually know the answers to these questions? I can't imagine that you don't already know this.
Please.
Your son entertained here Friday and Saturday nights.
Entertained?
He was a drag queen.
A drag queen?
Yeah, a damn good one too. Persephone King, mistress of the Skylight.
No, you're lying. That can't be true.
It's absolutely true. Do you want these answers or not? I'm not going to leave anything out.
I want to know.
Then don't look so damn shocked.
My son dressed up like a woman.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, he did. He was a great at it too.
That's disgusting.
No, you're not going to go throwing words like that around. Not here. I won't allow it. This is a safe place, and I'll be damned if I let you talk about him that way.
I'm sorry, but it's just not right. Men don't do that.
Men, women, and everyone in between have been doing it since the dawn of time. It's not up to people like you to decide what's right for people like me, for people like Kevin. We don't need your permission.
I did not raise him that way.
If he lived his life the way that you raised him, I'm sure he would have been dead much, much sooner. I'm just glad he got the courage to come here when he did. We saved him. God knows what he would have done if he still lived with you.
Saved him?
Is that something else you don't know? Kevin started coming here when he was 16. I wasn't much older at the time, and the bouncers took pity on these two lost and scared little boys. They let us in, and over the years, we got comfortable.
16?
Where did you think he was sneaking off to?
I thought he had a girlfriend.
Seriously. Did you know him at all?
No, I guess I didn't.
That was rhetorical. I know you didn't. You hated him.
I did not. I loved him. In my own way, I loved him.
Well, you had a fucked up way of showing it.
He knew my thought about this lifestyle. How he could have gone out and it deliberately disobeyed me, I don't understand.
You think this was about you?
He had no respect for me, for the beliefs I taught him.
Um, I'm sorry. Do you have another question or was that it? Because by my count, we're at 6. But if you're done now, I'd be happy to oblige.
Maybe I will have that drink after all.
It's probably a good idea. Here,
I haven't had a drop since he left.
since you kicked him out, you mean.
Yes, since I kicked him out. It got bad that day. I had had too much and things got out of hand.
Would you have handled it any differently sober?
Yes, I think so, yes.
You don't sound too sure.
I'm not a bad person, Curtis. I'm a Christian man. And I think and
Hypocrites
believe.
love to blame their shitty choices on their religion, don't they? Christian this and Christian that. If there's a God that can justify so much horrible shit in the world, he's probably not worth believing in. It's he.
Question 7.
Fine.
You were his friend.
His boyfriend. Yes. Yes, I was.
Did you love him?
Are you serious?
Did you?
Of course I did. He was the best thing in my life. Of course I loved him.
Thank you for that.
Excuse me?
For loving him.
Well, I didn't do it for you.
That's not what I meant. Thank you for being there for him. He didn't have any family around him at the end, and I'm glad he had someone to make him happy.
Is this the question?
Just let me say this.
The last thing I need is your appreciation, Mr. Hart.
Oh, you got it. Whether you want it or not.
Great. Your son had a partner for his disgusting lifestyle. Do you feel better now?
No parent wants their child to be alone, Curtis. I wanted anything but this for him. But for some reason, it made him happy. I'll never understand.
You never needed to understand it. You only needed to love him anyway. And you didn't.
I loved my son. I know you've done everything to convince yourself otherwise, but it's true.
I have a lot of evidence to the contrary. Love isn't disowning your own family because of who they are.
Maybe not from where you're from, it's not.
Where everyone's from, it's not.
You'd be surprised what people will do in the name of love.
Yeah, I bet you would too.
Question 9. How did he die?
There's no way you don't know the answer to that. It was in all the papers, on the news even.
I want to hear it from you.
I can't imagine what difference that will make.
I want to know what his life in this place was like. What did it cost him?
Cost him. It didn't cost him anything. The Skylight saved him.
You keep saying that, and yet he's not here now. And if he was still at home, maybe there's a chance he would still be alive.
Finally, we can agree on something. Maybe if he was home, he still would be alive. But you didn't exactly give him that option, did you?
I just need you to tell me what happened.
You know what I think? I think that you're guilty in grasping at anything you can to make yourself feel like you weren't even a little responsible.
I asked you a question.
I know, but I'm not going to answer it. Not yet.
Did you forget why we're here?
How could I?
Then you know what'll happen if you don't answer.
I'll tell you what, that will be question 20. I won't answer it before then
Why not?
because you seem to think that he was wasting his life here. You want to know more about how he spent his last year here, then fine, ask. But I refuse to have you believe that he was unhappy or damned to hell because he wanted better for his life.
Question 9. What is so goddamn special about this place?
What?
You talk about it like it's some sort of temple. All I see is a dive bar in the middle of Pittsburgh.
It is a dive bar. It's a shitty building with cheap booze and a leaky roof
Then why was it so important to Kevin?
because his family lives here. None of us are related, but we take care of each other because God knows no one outside of these walls is going to do it for us. The people that come here have been cast out from their homes or seen things that you can't even imagine, but we come here and we have a drink or a dance to music that was made for us, and it all feels a little less lonely
And you want to buy it. Why?
because of him. We built a life here, and yeah, as unimpressive as it looks to you, it was ours. So that maybe someday we could help out the kids that were just like us. I'm working 3 jobs to get enough money for a down payment on the loan. And sure, the funeral did set me back a bit, but this is something that I need to do for him.
I didn't know you paid for the funeral. I didn't know there was a funeral.
Good, because you weren't invited. We had a ceremony here. Churches weren't our style, but we still had a pastor from the non-denominational church down the street come by to speak. His congregation takes a bathtub full of holy water to the Pride Parade every year, and they do drive-through blessings on anyone who wants them. I don't believe in it myself, but Kevin thought it was a nice reminder that not everyone thinks God hates us.
God doesn't hate anyone.
Right, just his fan club.
Were his friends all here?
By the hundreds,
Hundreds.
he had so many friends, Mr. Hartman. And Persephone King, she had fans, and they all wanted to say goodbye.
I had rules when he was growing up. No playing with girl toys, no drama club, no dance classes, nothing that would make him seem weak to other boys. He begged me, but I wouldn't budge. The kids I grew up with wouldn't let that sort of thing pass. I only wanted to protect him. I didn't want him to go through all of that.
When you put it that way, it almost sounds noble.
Yeah, it probably seemed that way at the time, too.
And now,
And now I just wish I hadn't tried so hard to stop him from being who he was.
and it only took him dying for you to realize that.
Curtis, the way I was raised, you couldn't just be yourself. It wasn't an option. You were either a man with a woman or a woman with a man. There wasn't anything in between. And anyone who tried different was depraved and unworthy.
Do you still believe that, Mr. Hartman?
I don't know what I believe these days.
What question are we on?
I've lost count.
Me too.
What was that? When I walked in, you were lying on the floor looking up through the window.
I think it's my turn to ask some questions.
That wasn't part of our deal.
It is now. Are you really dying? Or is that just some sob story you were hoping would work in your favor?
I'm really dying. First it was the headaches, then the fainting spells, and then the vomit. I've been healthy my entire life, but I can only assume that I'm being punished. And I deserve every bit.
I want to disagree with you, but I don't think I can.
You think I'm the scum of the earth, don't you?
I haven't made up my mind yet.
I think that sometimes. All the time, maybe. Did Kevin ever mention me? How he grew up?
Not very often. He told me his mom died when he was young and that you raised him. It was trying to get any more information than that, but after a while, I found the mental scars.
I keep asking myself if I did my best at raising him with what I had. I don't know the answer.
Why are you here?
For information.
And what will you do with it once you have it?
I don't know. Something to make him forgive me. Yeah, some grand gesture to let him know that I'm trying to understand who he was.
Why do you need that?
Because I just do. I know it may not sound like much to you, Curtis, but God is real. He's real and he judges everything we do. And I'm afraid without something to make up for what I have done, he won't ever let me see my son again. And that's something I can't bear. I need Kevin to know how sorry I am.
You know, you know, I'm not originally from Pittsburgh. I was raised in Atlanta in a Baptist family. And to make a very long story short, after they found out I was gay, I had an accident and ended up in an emergency room with 6 broken bones. I ran away after that, wound up here at 17, broke and alone. My family probably thinks I'm dead, and they probably think they still somehow have the moral high ground. I think the worst kinds of people are those who refuse to learn from their mistakes. So if it's any consolation, I think you're doing better than most.
Just in time for it not to matter.
Better late than not at all.
It almost sounds like you're starting to forgive me.
I certainly wouldn't go that far. But I will say, you're not the big bad villain I always assumed you to be.
Was he happy here?
He was incredible.
I suppose that's all I ever should have wanted, right?
I'm not a parent, Mr. Hartman, but I know that his life here isn't something I would have wanted to miss out on. It was beautiful.
Did he perform right here on this stage?
Yeah, he did. When he wasn't spending 3 hours making sure every detail of his makeup was flawless.
Yeah. He always was a perfectionist.
Yeah, he sure was.
Tell me about Persephone.
She was a star. Best lip sync artist in the city, biggest hair, biggest hip pads too. She owned the room and everyone in it. She made this place feel, I don't know, like it was worth it. Like the people that hurt us and hate us, sure, they have the rest of the world, but we have right here. This magic moment where we were all happy and together and free to be whatever we wanted. And yeah, maybe that's a lot to take away from a man dancing in a dress, but it was ours. It was his.
I wish I had gotten to see it.
Yeah, me too. You know, the skylight was a part of his routine. He would do a Whitney Houston number and say, "You motherfuckers better not stop dancing tonight. God could see you, and you don't want to give him a clear shot for that lightning bolt." It's stupid, maybe, but that's why I lay under it sometimes. After we've closed down for the night, right there on the dance floor, and I look up at the stars and I try to relive every single moment. He used to tell me that one day the whole sky was going to fall and that we would have the perfect view. And yeah, I'll be honest, it was a nice thought spending the last moments on earth in his arms right here. But he died and I had to go on without him. I thought your son would always be there for me. He taught me to love myself when I didn't think it was possible. And he was just so good. He was the best person I ever knew. And the sky never fell, but some nights here without him, God, I wish it would.
Curtis, I'm going to call your boss in the morning and put in an offer for the club.
What? Why? I answered your question.
I'm going to buy it for you.
For me.
Call it my grand gesture. Okay? I won't say I knew much about what Kevin would have wanted, but I know he'd approve of this.
Yeah, yeah. I think he would too. Thank you, Mr. Hartman.
I just need one thing from you first.
And what's that?
How did he die, Curtis?
He was coming from his usual Friday night show here, and he was in full drag. He looked stunning. It was his favorite outfit to perform in. It was custom made. He was wearing these shoes I bought him. They were black crystal Louboutins in the biggest size they made. They cost me a fortune, but it was a birthday and I wanted to do something special for him. He told me that he was too tired to change back into his boy clothes and that he would be fine. It was just 3 blocks to our apartment. I begged him not to wait for me to get off at least, but he said that he was feeling fearless and that nobody would dare touch the mistress of the skylight. But he was wrong, and they found his body in the street 2 hours later.
Curtis.
I know you think that this life is the reason he's gone, but it's not. It's the people out there that think this life isn't one that's worth living.
I know.
Do you? because I need to know that. I bet I've had 100 conversations with you in my head, Mr. Hartman. Each one ends with me telling you that you were wrong and that I wish it had been you. And it would be a big relief to know that after tonight, I can finally stop fighting with you.
I do know. Thank you, Curtis. I should go. I don't know what I was expecting to get what I needed tonight, but I'm glad I did. I don't know where they'll bury me, but once they find a place, maybe sometime when you get the club together, just how you and Kevin would have wanted and talked about, you can come and tell me about it.
I'd like that.
This place is a real dump, you know.
Yeah, I do.
Wish I could have seen it how Kevin did.
Would you like to?
How? Curtis goes to the sound system and turns it on. The song from earlier plays. Curtis lies on the ground, looks up through the skylight. After a moment, Robert joins him, and they wait for the sky to fall. End of play. Devin Cunningham, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Happy to be here, happy to do this. And I'm so happy we also have Brayden Frascone with us. So I'm going to bring him on so we can all give him a round of applause. Brayden, where are you?
Hey there.
There he is. Woo! Thank you so much, Brayden. This was this wonderful working on this play with Devin.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Well, I'm looking at the chat right now, and so far what we've got is applause, applause, applause. Woohoo, Brayden. That's from Wendy Marie Martin.
Hey, Marie.
John Fisher. Yay! Great, wonderful script and performances. Thank you all. Zane Radcliffe. Congratulations on such a lovely reading. So, Brayden, I've got a question for you. Dan Strauss says, woohoo, well done, actors, and great play. I know you work as a bartender, Brayden.
Mm-hmm.
So how much did you dig into your own experience to write this play?
Oh, gosh. Actually, not at all. I actually didn't start working as a bartender until after I had already written the script.
So it was basically the play prepared you to be a bartender rather than...
I think so. I think that must have been it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I wrote this, it would have been probably the majority of it in 2017, and I think it didn't get up on its feet until probably 2018 in the springtime. So this was my senior capstone for my playwriting major at Ohio University. And it was first performed by, directed by Ernesto Ponce, and it starred Blake Dava and David Haugen. Just so great, who helped me develop this piece. Developed with the Ohio University Undergraduate Playwrights Festival, and it has definitely come a long way since then. So I'm very happy that people are starting to pick it up again now that theater's starting to happen again.
Theater's happening, and unfortunately, it still is not unbelievable that someone could be mourning a lover who was gay bashed. So it's still unfortunately too relevant. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We've got a question. Brayden, are you in Pittsburgh? Is there this kind of anti-queer violence in Pittsburgh?
I am not. I am in Massillon, Ohio, and I can't truthfully say that I base this off of any one particular event. I wasn't necessarily, the play was sort of it. Trying to think how I want to frame this. Um, to me, the event in which Kevin passed was less so what I wanted the play to be about. Um, for me, the script started with my gosh, um, the idea of this. I started with the image of lying on the ground looking up through the skylight, and I had originally written this play, conceptualized it as the end of the world. That was what the falling sky was in the original concept of it, and that was the image I started with. And I sort of, at a certain point in my life, I had thought, what would it take for me to come out as gay? And it at a certain point, it was the end of the world. That is what it would have taken, because I was so deep in the closet for, as it turned out, no good reason, because everybody was fine with it once it happened. But that is where the image started. And in the original concept, Curtis was always the bartender, and Robert was this man who was seeking in the final hours that Earth was even going to be, around, was seeking some sort of solace for just, please talk to me. Please tell me what this place was like. Please tell me about the Skylight Club and the people that were here, and what did they do? What was this place? Yeah, I hope that helps. Sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Thank you, Michael Stokes, who put in here that the show is, he loved the show, true and authentic, sad but true. And we've got a question. And by the way, for all of the viewers out there watching, feel free, if you've got a question, type it into chat and we will address it. Actors, can you talk about the emotional difficulties playing these roles, if any? Devin, do you want to tackle that one?
Um, Let me, and in honesty, the emotional thing would just be, I guess, gay clubs and gay bars having to be safe havens for the gay and for the LGBTQ plus community. It reminded me of Paris is Burning, and seeing, like, at the beginning, like, you see like these two Latin boys outside of a gay club, and they're just like, we're just on the street, we belong to the streets, I don't have a mother, I don't have a father. And it's just like, this is it, because this is, these kids are kicked out. And so it's the emotional, I guess that would be the part emotional having to connect to for me, is, in being in San Francisco and growing up in Oakland in the Bay Area, with my sexuality and my identity, and finding, like, okay, that was, in the Castro, okay, I found that down at, at Toad's Hall. Or, I was cool, I found my little piece down at, Port Bar in Oakland, or Cub B&B, where you found yourself, where you were able to, express yourself fully. So I guess I wouldn't say any of that. Well, it's emotional because it took me back, but it was more just like, oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Ooh, you learned a lot about yourself during that time of
Yeah. Yeah.
life.
Yeah, I guess the emotional problem I had was the way I think it's written, Brayden, is that it's a very, almost a delicate play. There's this slice of life of these two people interacting, and there was part of me that was really wanting to make it a little more Hollywood at the end, where they were practically best buds, and Curtis was now my surrogate son, and it really, I don't think the script really made that happen. That was more the actor and me wanting to come up with a happy ending, and so it was to keeping things subtle, and showing that these two people are a little closer together, but it's not like they're like this at the end. So that was kind of the emotional. That I had to keep my emotions a little more tamped down than the ham in me wanted to give it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I had some conversations with some of my mentors about that exact thing. It's not a perfect ending. As if this conversation were happening in real life, it would not be a perfect ending. These two people are not friends at the end of this play, but I think that there's a mutual understanding and maybe a mutual respect between them, because they've come together over this person that they both really loved so much in very different ways. They loved him, but at the end of the day, the through line between these two people is that they did love Kevin very much.
They both did. Yeah.
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 And
And I like the ending. I don't think it calls for, like I said, a Hollywood ending at all. I love the restraint of the writing.
and to what Devin said about well, for one, I was thrilled to even have the words Paris is burning anywhere near anything that I've ever written. But the scene that you were talking about, the two boys outside of in the neighborhood, that was actually the exact image that I was working with. Was about that, yeah, which is so funny you say that, because we did not have that conversation before this moment. It was
No.
um,
Lord, I tell you, we were reading it, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is." I read like, yes, yes. I was like, I remember because they would just show us all with their little flat brims and a 5 panels.
Hey. that always stuck with me. That always stuck with me that they were, gosh, those boys were probably what, 13 and 14 maybe. But they, where else was there for them to express themselves,
Yeah.
especially at that time in New York City,
Feel a little safe at least.
Right, of course.
We've got a question here for Brayden. How has it been to watch this play develop over the last few years and over each performance, especially in recent political times? And I just want to throw in that Brayden did join us for a rehearsal last week, and then the next day we got some revisions for the script after he'd heard us read it. So it is a play that I get a lot of playwrights can never finish writing a play. There's always some changes you can make. How's that
Sure.
been?
Yeah. Well, funny enough, that's my best friend that asked that question.
Uh-huh.
It's been great. I think that probably this time around was the only time that I ever made changes to the script, and I think that this was because the first time around was the Playwrights Festival at Ohio University. So that was when it was fresh written. There was another time it was read in Chicago at a very small theater collective, which I think they're defunct now. I don't think that they're still operating. And I didn't get to attend any of the rehearsals with that. So that was just sort of a night of readings they were doing as a one-off. Playwrights were invited to come to the performance, which I did. But yeah, this was, and then it went to a production in Sydney, Australia, which was its own, I'm sure the production was fine. I never saw it because, that was the relationship I had with that managing director. But this time around, I was very happy to be part of the process. I was very happy to be invited to the rehearsal, and with the two of you, I had the script, on a sidebar on my computer screen, and I was going through and saying, "Oh God, I've always hated that line. Why have I never changed it until right now?" There was a whole monologue that Robert said that I completely replaced because I was like, "Why is he saying that? That's so not makes no sense in the context." So yeah, I'm it's been great to watch it be developed, especially in recent political times. This script was written post 2016, post inauguration of the other guy. What's his name? I don't remember. But
Mention it.
yeah, I don't even remember. But yeah, I think that it was of course in response to that. I mean, I wrote it in 2017 going into 2018. So, hate crimes in all form were on the rise at that point, still are at this point. So yeah, I think I don't think I need to develop this further at any point to it's still about a contemporary issue. So
Yeah.
And I will say we have certain attitudes towards queer people have maybe improved in the last 5 years, but the more things change, the more things stay the same. So it's always good to go back to you know, to where we've been.
Remember that, yeah. Yeah, one of our local supporters said this is more universal than just coming out at issue. Seems more like trying to live without regret, and that the dads regret um, to not accept what is, and the idea that we have time to resolve our fear, that we can take actions to resolve it. Yeah, that's lovely. I've got a question for Devin. Tell us all about. You mentioned Oakland and San Francisco. Where are you now?
I'm in Savannah, Georgia now. So yeah, I've been out here since the beginning of February. It's been a bit of an adjustment, but I'm adjusting pretty well. I like it so far. I can't complain. But I'm a Bay Area native. I'm from Oakland, California, born and
Yay, Oakland.
raised.
Yeah. So that's the wonders of Zoom. You know, we couldn't have had Devin in this show. Yeah, if we had to do this in person, that sounds like a burden, but it's not. I can't wait for us all to be performing in person again. Um, yeah, and Brayden, you were telling us a little bit about you've got some changes coming up.
Yeah. I am actually moving in a couple months to New Mexico, Albuquerque, with a couple of my playwriting uh, colleagues from Ohio University and my very best friends in the whole world, Luke and Becky. And we're just gonna go out and try and chase the dream. You know,
Lovely.
we're starting to look at places now, and starting to get kind of real. This thing that we've been thinking about and saving for you know, since the middle of the pandemic. Now that now that, not that we're not still in it, but now that we're, things are we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. um it's gonna happen. I'm very excited to be out west and go exploring and
Yeah.
do theater with new folks.
Yeah, yeah, that's well, great. And you're focusing still more on stage writing, right?
Sure. Yeah, my roommates, I think that they want to spin their, I mean, we all got the same playwriting degree, the same BFA from Ohio University. um they're more interested in the film aspect and how to write for film and that sort of thing. Theater's always going to be my thing. I'll never, I'll never go away from that.
Yeah, yeah. Once you're hooked, you're hooked.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
My mom took me to see a production of Brigadier. I was like 5 years old, and that was it. It was sold.
Yeah. Well, listen, we do have one more comment. Bill Beckerman, I'm not sure who this was to. You said, wow, say hi to Stacy. Is Stacy in Savannah or Albuquerque? Not sure, but
Hi, Stacy. If you see
yeah.
this,
It,
I did the same thing because I saw it. I was like, oh, hey, Stacy.
nice. So, listen, Stacey Abrams. Okay, there you are. You're
Oh,
poor duh. Yeah, our hero.
sure. If you meet her, say hi from me too.
Yeah. Give her, well, if you've both been vaccinated, give her a big old hug for me.
Sure.
So just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. This was Theater Rhinoceros. Like I said earlier, we have a monthly staged reading series on Zoom. We have weekly shows coming up. Our Essential Services Project, John Fisher, our director, puts together a new show every Thursday night. So that's happening. There's information about that on our website. And we do have another show, a full production that we're going to be presenting in through Zoom, coming up in at the end of June. So watch our website for that, www.therhino.org. Now, most of this stuff that we're presenting is free. We do pay the actors. We don't want to insult them by asking them to work for free. So it does cost us something, and part of our resources. So if you want to help us out, we really, really appreciate it. You can help support queer San Francisco queer theater. You can donate on our website. It's right there, www.therhino.org. Or you can do the old-fashioned thing and send lots and lots and lots of cash or a good old check to John Fisher, Theater Rhinoceros, 91 Central Avenue, number 102, San Francisco, 94117. And I'm sure since we have, well, the three people on screen right now are from Ohio and Georgia and then California, there may be a lot of other people who are being introduced to Theater Rhinoceros for the first time. So do go to our website and sign up for newsletters because, like I said, we're putting out. We've been doing this since Shelter in Place started. We've been putting out a lot of online content. Much of it is recorded and available on our website. But just keep up with what we're doing because there's still a lot more coming. And then we're looking forward to the fall and winter when hopefully we will be back on our feet in person. Brayden, thank you so very, very much. It was an honor to be able to work on this. Devin, I love working with you. You'll always be one of my Zoom favorite actors to work with. And if we can lure you back to California, maybe we'll actually be in a theater together someday.
We'll make it happen. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, audience, for joining us. We really appreciate your support, just being there, listening, and supporting us. Thanks very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, Brayden. Thank you.
Thank you.